Hello everyone, this is an introductory video lecture on this massive open online course on philosophical foundations of social research. In this introductory lecture, we are not going to discuss all the lectures at length and in detail, but rather we will try to introduce each of the modules that we are going to cover throughout the course. Okay? If you see the content of the course, you will find that this course, Philosophical Foundations of Social Research, is considered a mandatory course, considered a core course, considered a compulsory course across universities and institutions, not simply in India but also abroad. And in this context, supervisors especially, they persuade their students to be strong in philosophical foundations of social research, because that will enable students to be good, not simply in theory but also in research methods. And philosophical foundations of social research has been designed in such a manner that will enable you to frame your perspective, to devise your research methods and so on. This is an 8-week course. In terms of 22, 22, 23 lectures, we are going to cover philosophical foundations of social research. The first week, in terms of 2 lectures, we are going to cover history of philosophy of social sciences. In history of philosophy of social sciences, we are going to discuss 2 rival methodologies from the 17th century to the 19th century, namely empiricism and rationalism. And the most dominant school of philosophy that we are going to discuss, the most dominant school of philosophy of the 20th century that we are going to discuss, that is positivism. And positivism took roots in the works of Comte, Auguste Comte, who is considered the founder of sociology as a discipline, sociology as a theoretical construct, sociology as a methodological device. And then we will discuss the relationship between epistemology and ontology. Okay? Epistemology is a body of knowledge or a theory of knowledge, and ontology is a study of existence, nature of existence. The central philosophical and political questions that epistemology addresses include what is knowledge, what counts as knowledge and so on. How is knowledge produced, how is knowledge generated. And ontology addresses the central philosophical and political questions, namely, what is being, what is existing. That is why epistemology is known as a body of knowledge or a theory of knowledge, and ontology is known as a study of existence or study of the nature of existence. And that is how we are going to cover in the first week, in terms of 2 lectures, history of philosophy of social sciences. In the second week, we are going to discuss Emile Durkheim, rules of sociological method, influence of sciences on sociology, objectivity in social sciences, social facts, autonomy of knowledge, the necessity of science, common sense and science. And when I say objectivity in social sciences, social facts, autonomy and necessity of science, common sense and science, or any social event, political event, economic phenomenon that we are going to discuss within Durkheimian framework, it will be in the form of a comparative social sciences. Okay? And then we will discuss organic analogy, and precursor to functionalism. Okay. In 3 lectures, we are going to cover Emil Durkheim. And the 3rd week and the 4th week, in terms of 5 lectures, okay, we are going to cover Max Weber's reflections on philosophical foundations of social research, Weber's contributions to theories as well as methodologies in social research have been classified into 2 parts. I mean, just for the sake of convenience, we have tried to classify them in 2 parts. Okay. The part 1 consists of how Weberian or how Weber's theoretical positions, how Weber's methodological writings are a reconciliation between positivist and neo-Kantian perspectives and his methodology of social sciences. How his reflections on social sciences have significant implications for research methods. And in the 4th week, we will discuss the part 2 of Max Weber. I mean, we are going to discuss methodological individualism, typology of social action, I mean, traditional social action, affective or emotive social action, value rational social action, and goal rational social action. And out of these 4 types of social action that Weber envisaged, whether they contribute to meaningful social action or not, we will see. Then we are going to discuss interpretative understanding of social action, Verstehen. I mean, Verstehen in English it is understanding. Okay, Verstehen is a German term. Then we will discuss bureaucracy, observatory understanding and explanatory understanding. When I say observatory understanding, this is a direct understanding. And when I say explanatory understanding, that is indirect understanding. Okay, ideal types and so on. Then in the 5th week, in terms of 3 lectures, we are going to discuss Karl Marx's contributions to philosophical foundations of social research. We are going to discuss idealism versus materialism, materialist conception of history, principles of dialectic, I mean, quantitative changes lead to qualitative changes and vice versa, the law of negation, thirdly, unity and struggle of opposites, I mean, interpenetration of the opposites. Then we will discuss what is the relationship between human beings and nature, in understanding nature. I mean, we will try to reflect on how perceptive thinkers like Marx, they try to dwell upon, I mean, particularly Marx, try to dwell upon a dialectical relationship between human beings on the one hand and nature on the other. Okay? Because human beings are essentially natural beings. Human beings not only contemplate on nature, okay, but also know how to control nature. Okay. The distinction between faculty of contemplation and faculty of control will be purged in the Marxist schema. And when you look at research, we are very often, I mean, researchers are very often put in a dilemma whether everything is value neutral or not, everything is objective or not, or some ideology is being embedded in research. Okay? That is how we are going to discuss theory of ideology and theory of science in Marxist schema, and there we will find that we are not going to discuss Marx as an ideologue of the Communist Party, rather we are going to discuss Marx as a top-notch theoretician. In the 6th week, in terms of 4 lectures, we are going to discuss Karl Popper and Thomas Kuhn. Popper's principle of falsification, context of discovery and context of justification, and hypothetico-deductive model, in contradistinction with what positivists suggested. And Kuhn's reflections, Thomas Samuel Kuhn's reflection on paradigm shifts, how he suggested that the life of every major science passes through 2 phases, one the pre-paradigmatic stage and the paradigmatic stage, and within the paradigm, how normal science is practiced, and then when normal science encounters anomalies, it enters into a crisis situation, and when science is crisis ridden, then it tries to search for alternatives, a new paradigm mediated by revolutionary science. Okay. The sixth will focus on Popper and Kuhn and the kind of controversies within social sciences the differences between Popper and Kuhn have brought about. Okay. In the seventh week, in terms of two lectures, we are going to discuss positivism versus hermeneutics. There are three parameters through which we are going to discuss the controversies between positivism on the one hand and hermeneutics or phenomenological sociology on the other. What are those three parameters? I mean, natural sciences versus social sciences, objectivity and subjectivity in social sciences, and quantitative and qualitative research traditions. And in the last week, in terms of two lectures, 2 to 3 lectures or some, we are going to discuss beginning of the end of philosophy of social sciences in terms of, when I say beginning of the end of the philosophy of the social sciences, I mean we do not believe in the epistemology, the science, the truth, the knowledge. We do not believe in that. Okay? We believe in, research always believes in multiple forms of knowledge, multiple forms of truth, because that is how knowledge, truth, science, they must be deconstructed. Okay? And therein lies the significance of the, the end of the philosophy of social sciences. Okay? In terms of naturalism and the unity of scientific method, in terms of critics of naturalism, methodological individualism versus methodological holism, then what do social sciences do, or what are social sciences expected to do? Okay? Okay. There are two ways to look at philosophy of social sciences. I mean, in terms of descriptive on the one hand and on the other prescriptive or normative. Okay. I mean, when I say on the one hand philosophy of science, social sciences aims to reconstruct a rational account of nature, human activity and so on. I mean, this is a descriptive part of philosophy of social sciences. But when I say a prescriptive or normative account of research, I mean therein lies the significance of critique of social sciences. Okay? And therein lies the significance of what do social sciences do, what are social sciences expected to do. And in this context, it is important to reflect on methodological pluralism. Okay? In contradistinction with methodological individualism or methodological monism as positivists envisaged. Okay? And then we will end with an overview of the course. I hope all of you will enjoy this course. You will learn from this course. There must be large scale enrollment for this course, so that you will find that it will enhance your understanding about how to carry out your research, okay, in a balanced manner. This will also help you not simply in coursework, but also while drafting your dissertation, your thesis and so on. Okay? All the best. Thank you.